Ladies and gentlemen, just minutes ago, we're going to play the clip here in a moment. We were taping it. The Communist News Network had McCain live on there saying, we don't want just cruise missile bombardments from our missile cruisers and aircraft carriers. I want full bombardment against Assad. For the children, of course. I mean, absolutely incredible to see this type of stuff going on. And the evidence is mounting that it was staged by the rebels who've been caught 3 separate times, caught on record staging chemical attacks where it came out that it was their chemicals, not Russian, not Syrian chemicals, and was done for PR. And they've been blowing up whole markets full of men, women, and children. They have outdoor markets there, some of the most ancient markets in the world, some of the most ancient continually operated markets in the world, over 3,000 years old. They have been bombing mosques, killing hundreds at a time. They have been bombing, you name it. And Obama comes out a year ago and says, a year ago to the date of last week's chemical attack in Damascus, in the middle of a crowded city, who knows who did it? Well, they know that. It's hard to figure out. He comes out and he says, if you have a chemical attack, I will bombard you. I am the man of peace. I am the Prince of Peace. I am the Nobel Peace Prize winner. What a sick joke. And then a year later, there'd already been 1 chemical attack. There were 2 more after that. And then now you have this big, spectacular event targeting civilians. And within hours, the Assad regime, the government says, yes, send in the UN inspectors. And they say, no, it's too late. Then UN inspectors show up and get shot at by snipers. Because this is in a war zone, ladies and gentlemen. This is in a zone there in Syria where there has been over a year of fighting going back with both sides in a proxy war. And in the last 6 months, U.S. troops have been massing in Turkey, massing in Jordan, and infiltrating hundreds of thousands of jihadis with CIA and other NATO and MI6, Special Air Services people behind them with all sorts of tow missiles, Stinger-type missiles, heat-seeking anti-aircraft. I mean, it is on against Russian Spetsnaz that are there advising them. So it's a proxy war with NATO against Russia. This is all part of the encircling of Russia. And it's not America against Russia. It's America run by NATO, on record the biggest world narcotics traffickers, white slavery traffickers, that's kidnapped children, folks, on record. I mean, they run the drugs into Europe, they run them into the U.S., the whole 9 yards against the Russians, who, again, the Russians aren't perfect either. I don't live in Russia, never been to Russia. Russia has a terrible gangster government culture, but they can't even get their act together to be the high-tech tyranny that the New World Order is. And so you've got a hijacked America, a hijacked republic, and our military being used to back up hardcore. Even the Council on Foreign Relations admits around 60% of the jihadi fighters that have been injected in by the West in the last 2.5+ years are al-Qaeda. And we've got videos that we've aired of them with captured tanks flying al-Qaeda flags, just absolutely murdering, blowing up churches, chopping Christians' heads off, blowing up synagogues, blowing up mosques, blowing up churches. There are confirmed reports where they stop truck drivers on the road, and if you're not a Wahhabist Sunni, they just kill you right there on the spot. The West is funding the most radical, nasty people in the world to go into there and butcher the place, just like Lawrence of Arabia and British intelligence were funded to go into Damascus previously and burn the place down. And what year did the British go into Damascus and torch it? What year was that with Lawrence of Arabia? The whole point is that this is amazing what is going on. And they're saying it's for children. Oh, look, they're nerve gassed. And they put it all over the television. Whenever Western forces kill children, you try to put it on your YouTube channel, or you try to put it on your website, they try to shut your site down. But whenever they want a war, they parade the dead children all over TV. And let me tell you, folks, it really freaks me out to know the evidence is overwhelming that our supposed government, run by globalists, undoubtedly the evidence is overwhelming. Because they've been caught doing it before, they have the motive, they stand to gain. So many pieces of evidence that the timing, the U.S. troops massing, the Qatari troops massing, the Saudi troops massing, the French troops massing, the British troops massing, saying they're getting ready to go in, and then right on time they say, if you use nerve gas, chemical weapons, we will bombard you and invade you. And Assad goes, chemical weapons aren't even good against other militaries in civilian areas. I have these legally and lawfully. I'm not about to use them. The Russians are at the bases guarding them. Just in case you try to blow it up, you'll kill Russian soldiers, which has already happened when they Israel cruise missiled about a month and a half ago. Some of the surface-to-ship missiles that they had there on their coast. This is a big deal. So back in 1918, a bunch of Saudi Arabians on camels, funded by the British government, went in and basically took over Syria and murdered tens of thousands as well. And it's just a replay of that. Go in, wreck the place, because nobody's allowed to have a country but the New World Order, and those are countries that they've already captured and that they're sucking dry. We're all occupied by Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, the Bank of England, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, the House of Orange. They're all intermarried. It's all a disgusting joke to these people. And the average American just hears, oh, that's that bad guy that used chemical weapons on those kids. Oh, good, we're the good guys. Go in there. And they're going to wreck the place and turn it over to Al-Qaeda. And they're also selling the idea of if anybody has chemical weapons or nuclear weapons other than the New World Order, you're going to be bombarded, you're going to be attacked, you're going to be invaded. This is global governance. That sovereign countries sitting there will have the West, like Libya, Syria, Egypt, you name it, go stage riots, fund the opposition with weapons. Our media will call them demonstrators and activists when they blow up police stations. You mean you'll be watching CNN when they kill 25 cops in Egypt, the Al-Qaeda people, and they'll call them activists, and it'll show them with machine guns shooting people and they're activists. I mean, this is so sick. It is so sick. Egypt was doing nothing to America. Libya was doing nothing to America, had apologized, given billions in reparations, signed over the whole country to the big banks. And they're like, that's not enough, buddy. We're going to take you down now. But in the case of Egypt, that was a Western-installed group they removed to put in the destabilizing Muslim Brotherhood and their Al-Qaeda. By the way, it's Al-Qaeda. We see the videos, we post them, we've played them here, of them burning down the churches, crucifying people, beheading people, throwing them off roofs, killing hundreds of Christians a day for the last 2 years straight, burning down churches every day. There's not really a church left in Egypt. The army's promising to rebuild it, so Obama cut off the funds. And I'm not even for foreign aid, because it's only used to put evil people in. See, as soon as there's not evil in charge, then they hold back the money. So don't let them have the money for foreign aid, because they're only going to use it to put evil people in. Because the globalists want to bring things down so they can buy it up cheap. They're at war with humanity and progress. They're the opposite of a renaissance. They are a post-industrial neo-dark ages. They are neo-feudalistic, scientific, militarized corporatists who are the absolute enemy of all good. They are a spirit of evil. That's why they dominate. It takes a spirit of liberty to challenge them. People ask, what's the solution? It's having a spirit of resistance and a spirit of justice. It's becoming virtuous people again. It's becoming honorable again. If you had the spirit of God in you, the spirit of liberty, you would be outraged by the Homeland Security coming out and saying gun owners are terrorists, and DOD documents that are public with Judicial Watch openly saying George Washington would not be welcome in today's army. He was bad. Literally, I'm going to cover this and show the document for people watching on TV. But if the fact that you're not outraged by that, if you're a new listener, you just think it's all funny. You have a spirit of being dominated, a spirit of not being able to man up and be threatened by tyranny and then automatically spring into action to resist it because you're insecure about yourself. I'm not talking to our main listeners. I'm talking to folks that live in denial. You don't believe in yourself. You are nothing but a hedonist at best. Most people aren't even living. They're like jellyfish. And so they hear all this talk and feel so overpowered by it. They just think, well, I can't do anything. I'll just stand down. If you had the spirit of liberty in you, you would automatically be resisting in different ways, and you would get better and better at resisting, and then we would defeat this system very, very quickly. But you've got to have a fire in the gut, a fire in the mind. That's what Thomas Jefferson talked about. That's what George Washington talked about. I have a fire in my mind. Literally, I burn with liberty in my mind. It's burning. It's animating. It's the word's not possession. I am overtaken by it. I burn in my mind, and then my belly just is satisfied saying, yes, resist them. You're doing good. You're honorable. My belly is satisfied, giving me strength. You're doing the right thing. And my mind is on fire, saying, all of your faculties here, this is the brain God gave you. This is what it's designed to do. You want to be awake? You want to have discernment? You are given discernment. And it's a fire. It's a fire.
Now you can watch the Infowars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.
He comes out and he says, if you have a chemical attack, I will bombard you. I am the man of peace. I am the Prince of Peace. I am the Nobel Peace Prize winner. What a sick joke. And then a year later, there'd already been one chemical attack. There were two more after that. And then now you have this big, spectacular event targeting civilians. We want just cruise missile bombardments from our missile cruisers and aircraft carriers. I want full bombardment against Assad. For the children, of course. I mean, absolutely incredible to see this type of stuff going on, and the evidence is mounting. Ladies and gentlemen, just minutes ago, we're going to play the clip here in a moment. We were taping it. The Communist News Network had McCain live on there saying, we don't, that it was staged by the rebels who've been caught 3 separate times, caught on record staging chemical attacks where it came out that it was their chemicals, not Russian, not Syrian chemicals, and was done for PR. And they've been blowing up whole markets full of men, women, and children. They have outdoor markets there, some of the most ancient markets in the world, some of the most ancient continually operated markets in the world, over 3,000 years old. They have been bombing mosques, killing hundreds at a time. They have been bombing, you name it. And Obama comes out a year ago and says, a year ago to the date of last week's chemical attack in Damascus, in the middle of a crowded city, who knows who did it? Well, they know that. It's hard to figure out.